Hey everybody, welcome back to Lettermen Row and episode number 2 of Road Beers. Congratulations if you made it through number 1 and decided to come back for a second one. I am Austin Ward. That is Jeremy Birmingham. This is our off-topic podcast, and primarily I think it's to keep us sane during quarantine.
Yeah, for sure.
Day 57. Is 57 right? Is it 63? How many days have we been quarantined?
11 teen?
11 teen.
11
I've got my official quarantine gear on from Homage, and I realized I should have worn it last week. We're going off topic because this sweatshirt was like the first time that I can remember you being like really visibly mad at me for getting something that you didn't have.
Well, it's like I know that you're like a real like big time Homage supporter fan guy. Like I get it. But that was one of those moments where I was like, man, I thought we did things together around here. And apparently we don't or didn't. So then I commissioned one on my own, which I paid for. But hey, it's worth it, you know, to look like you.
I have given Homage thousands of dollars over the years. So the reward for me, I think, was justified. I certainly am not opposed to sucking up to them and giving them, love on social media. A fantastic local business. They've sent me more than a couple shirts over the years that I certainly appreciate. But it was just hilarious to me. Like I didn't ask them to do it. I didn't say, "Hey, please, I'm begging you, Homage, send me this power zip to go with the 10 others that I already own and make it a Lettermen Row." I mean, I did mention that I wanted one.
Yeah, but sure, you weren't like averse to doing that if it came down to it.
But I didn't have to, and that's like, it wasn't I got to make a plan and be like, I only want this for myself, and Berm can't have one. Like, they just sent it to me. What was I supposed to do? Oh, you know what? I feel bad that now Berm doesn't have one of these. Can you please?
Yeah, that's exactly what you should have done. Doesn't matter. I got one. Mine's reverse of yours. I'm like, one of us is like Superman, and the other one is like Bizarro Superman.
Yeah. And
I don't really care which one's which, but like, I'll take Superman, I guess.
That's like team coverage and recruiting coverage. Inverse Homage sweatshirt, free trend-setting Homage sweatshirt for me.
Right. Exactly. And that's cool. I mean, whatever works for you. I'm glad that you got it. Looks great. Looks great on you. I know Chives is still waiting for his, but I don't know that Homage is in a position right now to sew on green onions on a shirt because they can't have one of
whatever they cook up. Because we like when Lettermen Row started, I figured you had to put Homage at the top of the list of companies in Columbus. It's a no-brainer. Like we want to partner with them for sure. We've done stuff with them in the past. They did the Beanie and Boone shirt for their podcast. There have been some discussions about doing more moving forward as we get into year 3. But I don't know what they could possibly cook up with Chives, but I'm really excited. Like I hope they're just tuning in to the second episode of Road Beers and like, you know what? A Chives shirt has to be made.
Well, I don't see why it wouldn't at this point. The number of people out there clamoring for a Chives shirt is obviously pretty large. Everyone I've talked to in the last week since the first episode of Road Beers has told me like, you guys, nothing is more important to me than Chives, and so
let's bring him in. It's time for our first Chive buy. Spencer Holbrook hitting in the wings. Chive buy.
You guys know that Homage listens to when Austin talks. That's the only reason you guys are doing this. And now I'm going to get on Twitter, and there's going to be a markup of a Homage shirt that has Chives or something on it. I know there is.
Well, they've got all this. They've got this free time. I mean, they're still working. They're sending out stuff to the masses, but we're all in a lockdown. So Homage goes home at night. These ideas pop in their head. We're definitely going to have to see something Chives related soon because they got to get the brand out there.
Well, I will fully sign on board with the Chives shirt if I can get one of these Lettermen Row pullovers or zips or whatever.
It's called a power zip, Chives, okay? Get off the screen.
Oh, my gosh. He doesn't deserve one.
Get off the screen if you don't know what a power zip is. My goodness. These are the greatest sweatshirts known to man. Okay, I broke I broke my own rule last week because I just wanted to know how people were responding to Road Beers for the first episode. I don't read the comments, and I said
You read the comments, and the first comment.
Read the comments because I like I said last week from the very start. I wonder who are the people that really are that entertained by us as much as we are entertained by us. And it didn't take long before someone criticized not just everybody on this show, Road Beers, from Chives, you and me, and really most people around the world. They love Taylor Swift. And what I don't understand is this argument, which is just the laziest take that you could possibly have, that Taylor Swift is made for 15-year-old girls.
Right, just because she was a 15-year-old girl doesn't mean that only 15-year-old girls should listen to her, because if that's the case, only 75-year-old men should listen to the Rolling Stones.
Don't only 75-year-old men listen to the Rolling Stones?
Well, yeah, but that's totally beside the point.
Okay.
I don't know, man. Like, I get it. It's not for everyone. Not everyone likes the same kind of music. I just think it's indicative of everything. Like, the most basic random things that you can say, like me saying that as a Bengals fan, I don't want the Bengals to draft Joe Burrow, leads to me getting messages that saying I'm a effing idiot because I'm like, that's just my opinion, man. Like, I just don't think they need to draft a quarterback when they have all these other problems. But if I say that, then not only am I the world's biggest idiot who doesn't know anything about football, but I'm also a homer because I want the Bengals to draft Chase Young, who's the best player in the draft. Like, people want so badly to just shred people apart for no reason. And yeah, Taylor Swift music may not be for everyone, but it's great to listen to in the car when we're on the road. Like, it's great road music.
But the 15-year-old girl part, it's fine that not everybody has to like it. I get that. And if you don't like Taylor Swift or the Rolling Stones, it doesn't make any difference. There are songs. I was really dreading the fact that on Apple Music Friday, it showed up all the new release.
Don't even say it. I know what you're going to say. You're going to say,
brand new
I woke up on Friday morning,
no.
and The Weeknd dropped a new album. Yeah, I like listening to The Weeknd during road trips. I also, ironically, like listening to The Weeknd on weekdays. So, I'm not afraid to go there.
I knew that. Oh, no. Now there's 15 more The Weeknd songs out in the world.
Hold on a second.
Don't play it right now. They'll shut down our show.
No, I'm not going to play it. What I'm going to do is find it because I have not downloaded it yet.
Oh, no. So I ruined it for myself by bringing it up?
I knew it was out there, but I'm going to just, let's see.
So there.
Add. Bing.
I think that there are 300 The Weeknd songs on your phone because every other song we go random. We shuffle on the car. I don't need to know the exact amount. It's probably higher, and if it is,
no, it's like 33.
No, there's no way.
Yeah, it is. I only have 3 albums on there. I have 400 Randy Rogers songs on there.
Well, so that's a plus.
The way it works.
I think the problem with The Weeknd is that it's only for 15-year-old girls.
It's true. Very different breed of 15-year-old girls than Taylor Swift.
But anyway,
it doesn't really matter.
Anyway, I was giving you a hard time about not doing the bracket, and obviously people don't want us to sit here and talk about Taylor Swift all week. But that, just have that comment in our first show, and I knew that I shouldn't read it. I knew that it was going to be there because people, every time we post, when we first took some road trips a couple years ago, we posted a picture that we were listening to it, and we got those exact same comments, and it was the exact same lazy take that it's just for girls. She's the most popular pop musician in the world. You can't just be appealing to 15-year-old girls. And even if you don't like some parts of her discography, and if you wanted to separate them out in the bracket, you don't like country Taylor Swift, go for it. But she is a wildly successful songwriter in and out of
people don't even know how much you like Britney Spears.
Well, I didn't think we needed to go there, but
I appreciate Britney Spears because it was, part of my formative years, but Austin loves Britney Spears.
That's true.
Just throwing it out there. Almost as much as he likes T-Swizzle.
It was great. I mean, I've only got a chance to go see Britney once, and Allie took me. We went to Vegas during the residency for my birthday. It was 4 or 5 years ago. Boy, time is all relative right now. Our fellow Lettermen Row contributor, John Bryce, and his wife met us out there, and like, oh, we're going to Vegas? Yeah, well, that'll be a great weekend. I'm like, oh, and Austin wants to go to Britney Spears, and it's like $300 to be in the pit. That's all he's ever wanted to do is see her in concert. And Allie loves Britney too, so that was.
Is there a pit at a Britney Spears concert?
Yes, like the way that this residency was set up was like there were no seats in front of the stage, so it was a general admission like VIP pit. So we were just like 10 feet from Britney, and because Allie's looking at it like, this doesn't make any sense to pay for the seats because she wants to dance. I want to be close to Britney, and the seats aren't close to the stage. So that's what we had to have.
But it's not like a mosh pit where people are like body surfing and like.
No mosh pits. Just a bunch of people having good times. A couple.
I did see the New Kids on the Block in concert last summer, so I can't really criticize you too much. That show was super fun, though. I mean, New Kids on the Block, Salt and Peppa, Naughty by Nature,
yeah,
Tiffany, Debbie Gibson.
All stuff that continues to pop up on your phone when we're on.
Yeah, hey, Chives. Debbie Gibson was a musician in the 1980s. New Kids on the Block actually started this trend of boy bands in a way that was a little bit more national. Didn't start boy bands because that was like New Edition and stuff like that before New Kids on the Block, but those were all musicians. They used to have music on these little shiny discs.
I know.
They were called CDs.
Compact discs.
I know.
So,
I know.
Yeah,
I am really not 12. I'm not 12.
You're not?
No, I know. I know these things. I know these things.
That's him. But you still can't rent a car, right?
Okay, sure.
I'm just trying to get the age range, so it's somewhere between 12 and 25.
Yeah, somewhere.
Right. You're doing great.
There.
You're doing great, Chaps.
When they were making that background for third grade school picture day that Birmingham has down there right now, they actually didn't even have compact discs yet. Those were cassette tapes. How many cassettes did you own, Birm?
A lot. I think my favorite thing growing up was getting mixtapes from people.
Oh boy!
Like there was a girl in 6th grade who made me a mixtape that had the song "Rush Rush" by Paul Abdul on it 3 separate times.
Really?
Like I don't think she couldn't find the songs apparently to fill it in, so she just put that song on there 3 times. It's a great song. I mean, don't get me wrong. Damn, on the beach?
Yeah. I don't know why that's down there, but I just thought that, for a couple minutes that I would relax like you with your fancy background and got the waves rolling in. It was only like, how long? 6 weeks ago we were in the Bahamas.
I know it's unbelievable how fast everything has sort of gone here. And I don't know. When do you think it's going to get back to normal?
I don't think that the projection we've heard from some people that the economy will be back running by Easter.
We're certainly not going to talk politics on this show, but I want to be very clear about something.
I didn't name any names.
What's wrong with being optimistic and saying I would like the economy to be back to normal by Easter? That's fine.
Yeah.
It's not saying it's going to be. But I think when people are stuck in their houses and they're looking for something like a light at the end of the tunnel, I think it makes more sense to say, hey, if everything goes right, we could be looking at this in 4 weeks, right? Like, to me, that makes a lot more sense than saying, we're doomed. We are doomed forever.
Well, I think we don't have to talk about, the economic policy or stimulus or politics. I think that probably is going to take longer than the period where we can actually get back out and cover football. And
I agree.
It's been really weird. I am normally in everything that we ever talk about. Sometimes the word that is used disparagingly is Homer. I think I am just generally optimistic about all parts of life. I'm not a pessimistic person. So I think that late May is probably the time where everything is going to get back, and we can, go back to Roosters for Lettermen Live, and hit up Land Grant and go to the breweries and all that stuff. That I think that's probably a realistic timeline, but I don't know. I mean, I'm not an expert on that stuff. I know that it's really weird. Not like the times. I don't know how much you've gone out to pick up food or go to the grocery store last week since we did this, but it's so weird. This place, Gallows, that was over by Olentangy Commons, was the first like restaurant and bar in Columbus that when Allie and I got here, we went there all the time. We could walk there from the OC. They had great beer on draft all the time, and we loved their pizza. And so, like, the place, first time that we were like, we're going to go out and get something and support a business that has been there for us for 8 years. And then you go in there, and I'm the only one. There's like one person checking out, one guy back in the kitchen that came out to give me the food. All the tables, the chairs are on top of them. It's like this place is always wall to wall packed for big games, Ohio State games, Blue Jackets, whatever. And it was so weird. And they said they've been doing pretty good business, and I hope that's the case because I don't want it to ever go away. But I don't know what to – it's hard to wrap your mind around it when you go out in public and you're at these places and you're just alone.
Well, I just think, the idea is, okay, you can pivot to change your business strategy or whatever, or adjust your business strategy. But most of these places are really not designed to rely on carry-out business. And with that, all the additional costs that come with having stuff to be able to make carry-out food and to sell carry-out food. And then all your supply chains are messed up. And then you can't get all the boxes you need. So it's like people are just waiting, I think, for a little return to normalcy. But how do you find it? I don't know. Chives, what is your take? Where's your take, Chives? Zoom. Chive.
Well, I just think of like the one thing that keeps coming into my mind for some reason is the Roosters Foundation, because they raise so much money for like the Buckeye cruise and things like that. And they start that the day they get back from the cruise. Well, like a couple weeks after they got back from the cruise, everything gets shut down. People aren't thinking about that anymore. And so how does that impact those kind of things that are branches of what people are doing in everyday life? Because day to day, we don't really think about like how much Roosters is making for the Buckeye Cruise for Cancer. But once that number comes out next February, if it's substantially lower than it was last year, you can point to say, okay, they lost 2.5 months of planning and fundraising because of that. So I think of like the secondary issues that are going to come up from these businesses being shut down more than I do just the shutdowns themselves.
How about how's the cat and teen going?
The cat?
Where's your cat?
The cat's good. He's under my bed right now. He just kind of chills.
Wow. Cowering in fear.
No, he finds a nice place to take a nap every day. And, he lives kind of the life that we all sometimes would want to do, He gets fed every day.
I don't hate people like cats do.
Well, he doesn't hate people, but he gets fed every day. He gets to take a nice brisk nap every day.
Do you want an award for feeding your animal every day?
He socializes every day. So, look, when you live in a tiny apartment, I would love to have like 3 dogs, one of them named Psycho, and be able to, roam about the house. But, when you live in this tiny apartment, the cat is a good companion.
If you want 3 dogs, I can give you 3 dogs.
You kind of just dropped this in real casual, like on Lettermen Live this week, where you hadn't been scratched, but seemed like Corey had been scratched. You can say that Burnham and I were already proven right.
Yeah, I mean,
she's been scratched. She doesn't mind it. If
she doesn't mind being scratched.
But I mean, like she doesn't hate it because, the cat's just playing. It's fine. It's a cat.
Get out of here.
Oh God. What's Berm doing? All right, I'm gonna go off the grid again.
Did you guys watch Tiger
I was just
King
going to
yet?
say, like, Allie and I started last night Tiger King, which I think that was the smoothest segue in the history of road beers, with Chives talking about getting scratched by a cat. And then we watched the first 2 episodes. I don't know. Were you saying that were you about to talk about Tiger King, Burr?
I was just asking if you started it because I mentioned it on Letterman Live on Monday, but like, it's the craziest thing. Like, it veers off so quickly that you're like, how the hell did this get here?
How far are you?
I'm done with it.
Oh, okay. But I forgot how quickly you binge things.
Yeah, I don't binge daily. I binge immediately.
I think that is daily. But
no, it's like I can't start it if I'm not going to finish it that day.
So I can't have a full conversation with you then because there's what, 7 episodes?
Yeah, but I mean, I can certainly talk about what you've seen.
Yeah, so I didn't really know what to expect. I just saw everyone talking about it on social media that you got to watch it. My brothers-in-law were like, oh, all of them were watching it. They said, oh, it's absolutely crazy because I keep complaining that the weather has sucked and all I really want to do is go play golf. Like, well, this will take your mind off of it. Put on Tiger King. And I'm like, okay, so what is the deal? I did not think we were getting a murder for hire and someone getting their arm ripped off. Like, I didn't even know that this lifestyle.
It's like a totally different world. The last time that I had that sort of reaction to anything on Netflix was when I watched, again, staying on the topic, it was called Don't F with Cats. Have you watched that?
No. I don't seek out cat content.
It's a documentary series about, and like, it takes you, like, you think it's one thing, and then all of a sudden it veers off in this totally different way, and you're watching just sheer insanity. And it's also very interesting. It's called Don't F with Cats, but the F is not the letter. And Spencer should watch it.
Well, it's too late for him. He adopted a cat. We can't let him, give it away at this point. But I didn't, like, people laugh and joke about, the tiger and the Hangover, and those animals have to come from somewhere. But I didn't realize that there were hundreds of them, that people were buying exotic pets like that.
One of the things it says at the end of the show, which is insane to me, there's actually more cats in captivity and owned in private places like those big cat rescues than there are in the wild. Like, that, it's crazy. But I mean, aside from the fact that you have to be an absolute psychopath to live your life in a way that, like, I'm going to spend my whole day in the cage with these cats. But then, like, every single person that you are introduced to in that show is absolutely certifiably insane.
Yeah, so it's only 2, but it's like you got the guy getting married to 2 guys. You've got the dude who's got 5 or 6 wives. You've got they just dropped the teaser at the end of episode 2 about the woman possibly feeding her husband to the tiger.
Carol!
All this stuff that.
Yeah, but like, it's crazy. That woman, and I don't pretend to know everything. And these documentaries are presented in a way to give you the most bizarre, opinions. But like, it's clear that her rescue and her life down there is not a whole lot different than old Joe Exotic's.
Yeah.
So like, how do you decide like who the hero is in that kind of setting? And maybe it's just we've realized.
The tigers.
There are no heroes in this world, Spencer.
You don't think I think the tigers are going to wind up being the heroes of this series, but I guess
I've seen how it ends.
I do.
I can tell you that they don't.
They have an evil plan to take over the world?
Well, yeah, much like Chives does. Chive-bye!
Chive-bye!
I think of people who own the big cats as just like natural selection. Like, this is what you're choosing to do. So, like, sometimes natural selection just takes over. And like, if you want to own a massive Bengal tiger that's going to rip your face off at some point. Do you remember on Anchorman when he says, I tried to get an interview with the panda. They said, nope, you can't do that. He's a massive bear. He will literally rip your face off. That's what I think of when these people own tigers.
Yeah, but it's not true though, because they're taking these cats as like when they're born. And so they're domesticated almost from the day that they're born. And yeah, initially they're going to bite someone's arm off if you put it through a hole and you smell like, peanut butter or whatever. But like eventually it's just you're taking the soul of the bottlenose dolphin. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And you're just ripping it out of it. Like, man, it's real sad. But it's also wild.
But to rebound from that, or for a rebuttal, like their natural instinct is to kill you.
Yeah.
Like that's what
That's
they've
all cats,
naturally
though. That's
done.
what I told you last
for
week.
thousands of years. Domesticated cats are completely different than Bengal tigers. I think you're comparing apples and like chocolate right now. Like not even apples and oranges.
Chocolate covered apples
Because-
sounds interesting.
Like
Go for it.
the
Caramel.
Bengal tiger or like a panther or something is not going to, you can domesticate it as much as you want. Eventually it's still going to realize that's a really, really that's a 6 foot tall piece of steak right there that I can just rip into and kill. I think there's something to be said about natural selection when it comes to owning these things. That's all I'm going to say. You guys go back to your cat talk.
I hope that we don't talk
It's a
about
hot take,
cats
Spencer.
on every single episode. But
What?
that would be weird if we talked about cats and Taylor Swift on every episode, don't you think?
And we'd have to change the entire name of the show.
So we did get one request since I admitted to reading the comments last week about what we've been drinking. We'll do that later. So the other thing, we got a lot of feedback. Sometimes you never know what's going to resonate with people.
Sure.
Save that beer for later because there's a lot of debate. I guess I thought it was a no-brainer that the dinner party would be the greatest Office episode of all time. Yesterday was the 15-year anniversary of the first episode, which I think we can all admit now is not great because it was basically a shot-for-shot remake of the British version, which didn't fit this current cast in America. But how do you think that there's a better episode than the dinner party, Berm?
No, I love the diabetes fun run episode. I think that one's up there for me. I love all the Christmas episodes. I think are great. I have I don't know. I'm not really like a soft spot for Christmas type of guy, but like Michael's the way that Michael
Isn't the
gets
fun run for rabies?
Oh, not diabetes. Yeah, rabies. That's not. No, I was thinking of something.
3
totally
people every year come down with rabies.
It's the silent killer. I think that the dinner party and seeing Jan go the way she did in that episode was what makes it the best.
I get it. Like some people find it too uncomfortable, and that the same is true with Scott's Tots, that it's so cringy that people can't take it. But I think that's the whole show. Like, it's not a real feel-good show for the most part. It's uncomfortable situations and what life is generally really like.
Yeah, I mean, Michael Scott, his entire character is built on being cringe. So I think if you're really looking for the right way to judge an episode, it's like, how cringy is he? Because the more cringy he is in an episode, then that's better for the episode. Yeah. In my opinion. But, it's like that thing, there's certain episodes like Parks and Rec, like the fight, episode 313, season 3, episode 13. Like that is without question the best episode of Parks and Rec, but everyone has their own issues,
I think you have to tell people that the only reason you know that is because when you're looking for something and we're on the road and you fire up Netflix, you always go look for that one.
Season 3, episode 13. It's the best episode out there.
Because most people don't just like remember the number of the episode. They try to go.
Snort juice.
I think Chive had something he wanted to say about The Office. Chive, bye.
Dunzo.
Yeah, so I have I won't say that it's the best episode, but I do believe Company Picnic has to be talked about as probably the most underrated and maybe top 5 best, only because they do the Dunder Mifflin meeting skit on the stage, and then they tell all the people of Buffalo that they're losing their jobs.
Who wants to be a Dunder Mifflinaire?
Yeah, and it's
top
like, how did Robert...
I mean, that's a funny skit, but
no,
it also has Charles Minor in it, so that's an immediate downgrade.
But you also have, is it Rolf that's yelling at all the volleyball contestants? You have Dwight trying to stall because they went to the doctor and they find out that Pam is pregnant.
Yeah.
There is just so much and it all like Andy hits the guy with the ball, and all of a sudden he's like, oh, those are cheap sunglasses. He's like, these are expensive Ray-Bans, jackass. And I just like some of the random lines in that episode are just fantastic. And I think we forget about that episode.
Well, but it also probably ends on a real downer for Berm, who hates Jim and Pam.
Sure do. I'm not like wishing harm on them or like wishing that they don't find happiness. I just think that they ruined each other's character. No big deal. I mean,
it seems like a pretty big deal for a show that went 9 seasons.
Exactly. But I'm not the person in charge of what they do. Again,
I remember that this is also a podcast, Berm, so you can't just – not everyone's going to see your background there.
The episode of the fight are like has so many things in it that you don't even remember. Because all you think about is the end and the snake juice and them all being drunk and being dumb. But like, it's unbelievable. It's such a great episode.
Hey, Razzie.
I'm pretty boring. Whoops. Like, it's just fantastic.
I've been at, like Allie keeps bringing this up because just give me your Office character power rankings.
We've broached this before, and I have as per everything else.
I know, because every time you're here and we turn on The Office at the house,
I have a tough time with it because I think you have to decide if you're talking about primary or secondary characters or everyone. Dwight K. Schrute is the best character on The Office. He has to be.
Has to be?
Dwight's the best. Dwight's the best. Followed up closely by Creed.
Yeah.
I guess I'd put sheesh. I like Kelly quite a bit. I enjoy Kevin quite a bit.
Right.
Phyllis, I think, is hilarious. Who's the British chick that comes in at the episode season 7? She's the worst character on the show and needs to be dumped in the Atlantic Ocean.
Oh, the worst?
Okay. When we're talking full-time characters, okay, because I'm not going to – Will Ferrell's character was probably up there as pretty bad. Robert California is awful.
No. Robert California is amazing.
You can tell me Angela's not the worst character on The Office. Angela is the worst character on The Office.
I like what she brings to the show.
I like what Angela brings to the show, too. I actually thought D'Angelo Vickers was pretty funny. I know
he had a moment. Okay, the juggling episode.
I think
funny.
Even the end when Jim calls him out on the dunk that puts him in the coma, it's still funny to watch Will Ferrell just do his normal stuff. Maybe it's because maybe what I think is that Will Ferrell is doing Will Ferrell things and they're funny, but it doesn't really, fit in the Office world. It's a poor. They jammed it. They thought that the stunt casting would be too great, and they tried to do something that doesn't really fit the aesthetic of screen.
I do like the name D'Angelo Vickers. Not gonna lie. Like if I ever bore an offspring, I might consider that name.
But
that's the first name.
Like I hinted before, like Charles Minor, boy, I can't.
He's a bad character too.
And he doesn't even know anything about paper. Worked at Satakoy Steel? Give me a break.
Sometimes you got to go outside of the box.
It didn't work. They went out of business.
Well, he got duped by the Michael Scott Paper Company, and that's the way it works.
That's true. Well, you hate to see it.
You literally hate to see it when he's on the show.
So I kind of skipped over it. Have you got out much? Go out, get some food, get some beer?
No, we honestly last week we went out 4 or 5 times and went to the grocery store every time just to like get random little things. We're really hoping to avoid leaving the house for the next week, except for like walks and bike rides and other things that I don't want to do, but you have to do, otherwise you go crazy.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we're pretty well reserved here. I mean, you were in the car when we were driving to Virginia, North Carolina 3 weeks ago when I told Angie to go to the store for the first time. And that was before everything kind of started. So we were prepared a little bit. You know, I think we have a month or so worth of stuff here.
What have you been drinking?
The last couple of days it was the Sam Adams Hazy a Juicy IPA, which isn't great, but for just like a pretty standard beer, it was okay. It was better than I thought because I hadn't had it before. Again, we continue to buy out every store we can of this white chocolate because it's delicious.
It is. Yeah, it is good. Where is that from again?
The Grand Armory up in Traverse City.
That's right.
That stuff is great. So we went to our local liquor store on Saturday and bought their last 4 or 6 packs of that just to have on hand for the next month. But, you know, you got to be selective because you don't want to go to the store and buy 300 beers, but we don't have delivery breweries up here like you do.
Yeah, I've been hitting that up pretty hard. And Allie told me yesterday we went out and we picked up some takeout food, and I was passing somewhere in particular, Sip, which is our brewery that's less than a mile from the house. And I had gone there on Sunday after the grocery store because we desperately do not want this to go away. We had already lost our Winking Lizard where we went time after time, and it was replaced locally for us with a brewery that we can walk to, which is like, you know, the greatest news that ever happened to us, basically, other than Liberty. But, you know, Liberty, yeah, too. So she's like, well, you should swing by there and pick up more cans. I'm like, we got to make sure that they're okay. And they were actually closed last night, which was a real heartbreaker. But I wish that these places were all – it tells you how difficult it's going to be for all of them. So that's why I'm trying to do as many deliveries and pickups as possible. I mean,
this is such a bizarre time. Like, we're entering this era. This could last for 2 months. And then, like, how many small businesses can really survive for that long? And how many people are going to be able to get by and adjust what they're doing? And I mean, sure, you can produce all the beer you want in the next 2 months, but if people can't buy it, then you're just sitting there. Hopefully the banks and stuff have an opportunity to give people a break. And I don't know. It's depressing.
Yeah. So the best thing I had, because we didn't actually talk about beers that much. We probably won't do that on every episode, but I got this delivery from Seventh Son and Antiques on High last week, and I'm gonna try my best to save this for you. I can't make any promises, but they have this Imperial Brown Ale called Baked, and it's just like a brownie cookie. It was like 10.5%. It's dessert in a glass, so you've got the white chocolate behind you. This is an incredible beer. I don't think I've had anything from Seventh Son that I didn't really enjoy. They also had a new hazy IPA from Antiques on High that I included in my order, and they threw in a T-shirt, which I mentioned last week, which was a great deal. But this beer, I mean, for somebody like you, I think both you and I love the IPAs in every variety, but when you branch out, you seem to like the dessert. And
yeah, like remember that cotton candy haze or whatever that was from New Holland Brewery in Michigan, and that was tremendous. I mean, I've never had a beer that tasted like cotton candy before, but it was pretty remarkable.
Well, you like that blueberry one too, right? Like
Blueberry Crush from Petoskey. Yes.
So like
it's a blueberry waffle cone beer. How can you not like it? I mean, last summer when we were at Will's Lake, I drank too many of those, and
How did that happen?
It was so warm out, and then those are heavy, and so you drink like 4 of them, and it's like all of a sudden you just can't move. You're donezo for like the day. You're like, screw this. I don't want to go anywhere. Also had a lot of Trulies.
I think it's great how far you've come from not knowing how to properly order a flight to really.
That's not a story that we need to tell on the show. I just wanted 4 of the same beer. That's all. Isn't that? I mean,
well, they could pour that in a larger glass for you. That would work.
yeah, exactly. And but I also happen to really love tiny glassware, so you can see the confusion.
Well, it would be one thing if you only had like one breakdown ordering a flight. So I could have told multiple stories, which
sure,
I think
but
is.
It's very similar to me always turning into the wrong driveway.
Well,
I do it on purpose sometimes.
You don't make many mistakes ordering flights now, but
no, but I've really matured.
It takes me like that was a screw up that was like a year into us working together. The first one at Rutgers, when you just ordered the same flight twice.
Oh
that's the one that, like, I had a much tougher time wrapping my mind around that one.
I mean, it's not like I didn't get through one flight of beers.
Chad bye.
Hey, Chad.
That was very smoothly redirected onto Chives for not being able to finish his flight on his first road trip with Lettermen Row.
I had my mouse ready. I was ready for whenever you guys brought it up. I will say I ate too much because I took the last slice of pizza from you, Austin. I, in the middle of that flight, went to the bathroom, and I will not discuss what happened in there. When we got home, I went to the bathroom again, came downstairs.
I remember that because Austin and I were down at the hotel bar, yeah.
Came down to the hotel bar, had another beer, went to the bathroom again, then finally got to sleep. When I woke up the next morning, went to the bathroom again. So if you guys really want to get into it.
Wow.
That's the reason I didn't finish the flight.
A lot of details there.
This got a lot darker than I thought it was going to.
Was
for you guys out there watching and listening to this, understand this was the first road trip we made with Chives, okay? So we were going to Muskegon, Michigan to sit down and film Cameron Martinez's commitment interview. And that was the first road trip with Chives. And it was a shocking departure from our normal road behavior.
Do you think the stomach problems are why when we sat at the brewery where he couldn't finish a flight and we asked him to pick his 5 desert island movies that he started with Schindler's List?
It could be because like at that moment he probably was feeling to himself like ready to give up. And so Schindler's List made the most sense. He's like, well, screw it. If all I can do is this, I may as well just...
I read the question wrong. I said 5 like great movies, not 5 desert island movies.
I mean, the question was, what are the 5 movies you're going to take on a desert island? And you put Schindler's List as the first choice.
You guys gave me a redo, and I redid it.
And you didn't improve it, I don't think. Tell us.
I mean, that is subjective. That is subjective because if Chives likes the movie
Due Date.
Due Date. For those of you out there, again, watching, listening, Chives' all-time favorite comedy apparently
that is not true.
Okay,
it was the first on your list. It was the first on your second list.
My all-time favorite comedy? Oh, God, I don't know.
Schindler's List is not a comedy.
He picked buddy comedy with Zach Galifianakis and Robert Downey Jr. as the first on his redone list.
No, it wasn't first either. It was 5th. I just took one off and put a new one at 5th. This story gets more and more out there every time you guys tell it, and that's
more
fine.
More and more accurate, depending on who you ask.
Where was the lie?
Because you said it was my first movie I chose, and that's just...
It was the first movie you added to the list.
Okay, Schindler's List.
There's already 4
gone.
on the list, though.
You're gone. Up comes number 6, Due Date.
No, I put it on there because my friend...
He also had The English Patient on the list, which was
That's right,
bizarre.
English Patient and Schindler's List. He's like, I'm just going to name movies from the early 90s that won the Academy Award.
I'm going to put Gone with the Wind on there.
My favorite...
Let me see. What else?
I actually don't have the...
Casablanca.
Yeah, I do have the list. Here we go. My 5 that I settled on, my final 5, were Forrest Gump, because it's my favorite movie of all time. Step Brothers. Wedding Crashers, which is probably my favorite comedy of all time, just because I think there are so many funny moments in that movie.
There are. Great movie.
Forgetting Sarah Marshall because it's the best rom-com.
I need to forget about her.
And Hot Rod.
But you don't. That list doesn't include Due Date.
Because I took it off after you guys started making fun of me.
Have some strength in your convictions, man. Like if you like Due
There's no
Date,
conviction
own it.
about Due Date.
If Due Date's your jam, own it. What's up, Lib?
I just got an old mermaid.
You got some mermaids? Show them. Hold them up. We got mermaids.
Oh, dang.
Wow.
As you can see, quarantine life is a little bit of a challenge, but we've got mermaids to get us through.
Do they have names, Libby?
Liberty's like, hey, you guys have been talking long enough. You're boring people.
Liberty,
we can talk about
Liberty.
all day long. Did you say hi to Berman?
Let's go. We got to go talk to Ryan Day.
Yep, we're going to talk. Actually, have to do some work today, not just talking about beers and movies, but we appreciate anybody who made it this far again into our second episode of Road Beers. It's helpful for our sanity, and we hope that you enjoy us just a little bit. I guess if you made it to this point and you hear me now, you must have. But we're going to keep doing this as long as this quarantine lasts, and as long as you guys keep enjoying it. Appreciate Spencer Holbrook running it back there, setting up the video for us. Good job, Chives. Berm, as always, great to catch up. It's not fun when we don't get to spend any time on the road and working together. So let's get through this all together. I'm Austin Ward. We'll see you next time on Road Beers. Bye-bye. Say bye.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe below to get the latest videos from Lettermen Row.
We got Letterman Live, we've got the practice report, we got rapid reaction. Hey, and you know we got Buck IQ with Zach Bourne.
For sure. We got recruiting breakdowns with Berm. We got whatever you need. Ohio State football and Ohio State athletics, we've got you covered here at Lettermen Row.